Democratic House managers have used their final day of opening statements to make their case in the impeachment trial of President Trump. And ABC reporting about a recording that appears to capture the president at a private dinner in 2018 saying he wants Ukrainian Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch fired.
As the impeachment trial of President Trump continued for a fourth day, a new recording reportedly made in April 2018 and reviewed by ABC News appears to capture President Donald Trump telling associates he wanted the then U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, fired. Speaking to Lev Parnas, the now indicted associate of the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, he has pleaded not guilty. Get rid of her, is what the voice that appears to be President Trump is heard saying. Get her out tomorrow. I don't care. Get her out tomorrow. Take her out. Okay? Do it. It was in response to Parnas saying she's basically walking around telling everybody, wait, he's going to get impeached. Just wait. It wasn't until a year later, April 2019, that Yovanovitch was recalled from her position. Before heading into the Senate chamber, the lead House manager reacted.
If the president, at the urging of Giuliani or Parnas or Fruman, if this is additional evidence of his involvement in that effort to smear her, it would certainly corroborate much of what we've heard.
The president and his team arguing,
I don't think the president has made any secret of the fact that he had concerns about our ambassador to Ukraine and wanted her replaced.
Back in the Senate chamber, Democrats continue to make their case that President Trump obstructed Congress.
President Trump tried to cheat. He got caught, and then he worked hard to cover it up.
It is still unclear, however, how the Democrats' arguments are landing with those more moderate Republicans they're targeting, many refusing to commit to Democrats' push for allowing new evidence and witnesses until both sides conclude opening statements.
I think the question is, do we need more evidence? Do we need to hear witnesses? Do we need more documents?
Another moderate Republican, Senator Mitt Romney, saying the same thing. The arguments for the president's defense team, followed by the 16 hours of senators' questioning, isn't expected to wrap until the middle to end of next week. Even as a brand new ABC News Washington Post poll finds 2/3 of Americans believe new witnesses should be part of the Senate impeachment trial. On Capitol Hill, Serena Marshall, ABC News.